So I'm happy to say that this week's episode of One Piece was a ton better than last week's debacle of garbage. That's what I call it, because last week's was garbage. And again, I said it last week, I'll say it again this week. Last week's episode of One Piece was probably the worst episode of the arc to this point. So, didn't really, I guess if you really look at it, it doesn't really take much to make it a better episode, but this was actually a decent episode. Not amazing, just decent. The episode started off with more Bartholomew fanboyism over Luffy Senpai. Because if you remember where the episode left off last week, Bartholomew ran into Luffy, and then it ended there. So, just more fanboyism, a weird, like... It was really funny, hard to describe, but it was basically Bartholomew picturing Luffy in a weird way. I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it was just freaking hilarious moment, and I'm really liking Bartholomew as a character. I liked him in the manga, but I tell you, in the anime, I think I like him even more, because he just looks, he looks badass. He's a complete fanboy over the Straw Hats, but at the same time, he has a badass side about him, so he, I think, could be a real candidate for a Straw Hat down the road. Don't know if it'll happen or not. Even in the manga, I still don't know if it'll happen or not, but I tell you, I'm really liking this character. Everything he's done so far to this point in the anime, and especially the manga, has just been great, so we'll see what happens with that. So, first part of the episode, pretty brief, just describing or going more into Bartholomew's fanboyism. So, majority of this episode was focused around the dark history of Dress Rosa, and we got more story progression and more of an idea of exactly what happened. Now, we still don't know exactly how the kingdom was overthrown. The kingdom of Dress Rosa was overthrown by Don Flamingo. It's still a little bit of a mystery, but we did learn, as you saw at the bottom of the pit, where all the broken toys and all the Colosseum soldiers and everybody was thrown down into, we learned that Ricky Gladiator was indeed King Riku. He took his helmet off, and interestingly, while most of Dress Rosa hates King Riku, we got an idea that most of the gladiators and scum actually appreciate King Riku more than most of the citizens of Dress Rosa. And that was a pretty big insight into just what is going on. It's a little bit muddled, but just the scum and everyone else appreciates King Riku more. Interesting stuff there. So, we learned the King Riku, we went to the past, was talking about just a little bit of how the Don Quixote family overthrew him. Little bits in there. Then we also got a glimpse of Treble, which is the snot-nosed character you guys saw in the middle of this episode. And he's got some weird abilities, we don't know what it is, but we just got a little glimpse of him. He pulled one of the gladiators up and turned them into a toy, or at least that's what we assume. He turned them into a toy. So, does he have the ability to turn people into toys? Is he the one that's causing this? We'll see. But yeah. So we got that, and most importantly, well, this is most importantly, and then we got. I want to add this in a little more history of the Tontattas. We learned that the Tontattas we knew kind of already, but they went into emphasis that the Tontattas were slaves under the Don Flamingo family, which is why they want so much revenge against Don Flamingo, and they want to overthrow him and bring King Riku back into rule. So they were slaves for so many years, they're getting sick of it. They explain how Greenbit was created, because that was their home, and it's one of the most beautiful areas connected to Dress Rosa, and while they were slaves, they created it. So much going on into the history. A lot of dark, and that's what I appreciate about this episode. There was just a lot of dark little scenes. Not really like super dark, but the flashbacks generally are dark, which is what I like about One Piece. So there was that. And then the biggest revelation of the episode was the fact that we learned that Rebecca's father is the toy soldier. That's right. Rebecca's real father is a toy soldier, which is why he cared for her so much, which is why he felt miserable that Rebecca's mother was killed, and we know that he was turned into a toy soldier. So I tell you, when he comes out of being a toy soldier, you know he's gonna be headhunting for Don Flamingo, because he was put through hell. He had to watch his wife die, and his daughter is miserable, fighting currently in the arena. So just so much sad history. A lot of it's still vague. We're gonna learn more, but this episode was really good in the sense that the story progressed along. More of the history was learned, and that is about it. So overall, I'm going to give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. Okay episode. Not amazing, not bad, just okay, but it was good story progression, and I appreciated just a little more insight into what was happening. So that is all I have for today. Stay tuned, because something big, I'll say this, coming from a manga reader, for those of you anime-only watchers, something big is going down in the next 2-3 episodes or so. So keep an eye out on that. The anime should hopefully be getting good. That is all I have. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you later. Peace.